Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Wednesday, November the 11th, year's 2020. Let's talk trading. Trading like a rat. Just a reminder, these videos for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Now, I've made lots of videos talking about the rat zone, trading like a rat, but I guess a new person to the rat has been asking a lot of questions, and they've taken a couple of losses and they're almost ready to give up on the rat. So I've got Walmal on the line, so we thought we would just go over the rat, and maybe we could help out this trader and maybe a few others, because right now the pound is in the rat zone and we're coming up to the top of the hour. And one of the things that I always suggest is, right now we're looking at M15. And if you're having a hard time with M15, then move, or M5, move up to the H1. And then hopefully you will not click onto a different pair. And you can take advantage of the a green H1 candle. So let's just see what happens at the start of this hour. So, Walmal, what would you like to add to the rat?
Well, I guess the couple things that, makes it more, or it gives you a better chance of winning on the rat zone is one, and most importantly, I know you said this many times in the past, what's your daily range? If you're sitting there trying to trade the rat zone, and you've only got 40, 50 pips, well, you don't have any room there yet. You don't know which way it's going to set in, and so I think that's one of the fundamental things that people make mistakes with. And we were talking before, Avery, and you were talking about the wick and all that. Why don't you go and explain why this works?
Well, the reason it works is, let me switch over to a D1 chart. You can see the size of the wicks here. Usually the wicks on the pound dollar are usually about 20 pips or more. And you can see here these little dots here. These are like the edge of the rat zone. So you can see here price came out of both rat zones. Here both. This one yesterday, price actually closed inside the upper rat zone, but it definitely left the lower. And so right now we're outside the upper, but we're inside the lower here. So we're just going to have to wait and see whether or not price comes out of that rat zone.
Right, and I think that's important to note that it usually comes out of that wick zone, or creates that wick on that daily candle, and so that's why it works. And so you need to go and have some type of range on that candle for this to go work. I mean, your rat zone is 20 pips from each direction. So if you got 20 pips on one side, 20 pips on the other, that's 40 pips. So you really don't have anything to even trade into. So that's the most important thing. I think another thing that, for me anyway, where it's worked for me when I've used it, is I like to wait a little bit longer into the day to establish that candle. If you're trying to trade the rat zone, at the open in London, well, you don't really have very much to trade with, especially if you're trading the pound dollar. I mean, the reality is, you have the candles that happen during the Asian, but during the Asian session, usually the pound dollar doesn't move that much. Sometimes it does, but usually it doesn't move during that time. So you don't have much to trade. You don't have much to work with. I prefer waiting until, if I'm going to be looking for rat zone trades, I like to go and wait till maybe 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern time, on the East Coast of the U.S., so that you've had some time for the Londoners to go and put in there. They're saying what this candle should be, and for the New Yorkers to go and have their time to go and put their say into what it's going to be. And now we can go and actually, okay, we're going to now drift back towards that middle a little bit, like it always seems to do. And now we have some opportunity to go and take that trade.
Exactly. So I can switch over here, and we can look at let's see, where is the chart? Oh, is it not on this profile? I guess I don't have it on this particular profile. We did take out the pivot, though. I was looking for my chart that had all of the different ranges. I guess that was on a different profile.
Right. The other thing. The other thing I would like to go and add to that is that the other thing to go in trading this rat zone is that, a lot of times, you sit there and you say, I want to get 10 pips, I want to get 15 pips or 20 pips or whatever. And the problem is with the rat zone, and it's not really a problem, it's just a reality. What happens is if you're trying to trade out of, the lower end and you're trying to become a green rat, well, you really don't know when you've established a low. So that becomes a little bit of an issue. So what do? Oh, I got into the trade. I'm up a pip or two. I'm up 3 pips. Oh, it stopped moving in my direction. You know what? Jump out of the trade. Get out of the trade. Take your 2 or 3 pips and put it in the bank and wait for the next signal that goes and tells you to go long again. And just keep on doing that over and over again, and you should be successful. And then the hope is that eventually what happens is you get onto one of those long runs, and that way it becomes very, very profitable. I've been trading this morning coming out of that rat zone, and I've got, and I'll just read off some of my trades. Some of my trades. What I got a 3 pip win, a 1.9, a 1.1, a 2.1, a 0.7 loss, a 3.1, and a 2.0. All those were rat zone type trades that I took. But if you notice, there were no 10 or 15 pip winners in there. And it's just that for whatever reason, the market said, you know what? I'm not done going down yet, but I'm looking at it from the perspective. Okay, we've had, we've ranged, what we need to go in range. We've ranged, 120 pips or so. So I'm certainly within that rat zone, but for whatever reason, the market is still pushing down a little bit. So, okay, I have to observe that. I have to trade what I see. Yeah, I'm in the rat zone, but I have to trade what I'm seeing. Okay, the market is still going down. Well, I'll go and take the trade anyway, and as soon as I see it and it stalls, and I'm not going to get anything, get out. Just get out, and, and wait for the next signal, and hopefully that next signal will allow you to get that big move up that everybody wants to get. But adding all those pips up, if you paid attention to that, that was 12 pips that I just rattled off there. Roughly speaking, 12 pips. Well, that's a pretty good day if you got 12 pips in the bank.
Yeah, now as you're speaking, you can see that it looks like the H1 candle color has turned green. I can see right here it's turned green. So it just broke the previous M5 high right here. I'm looking at the M5 chart.
Right, and this is a perfect example of a rat zone trade, because you got a signal, you're coming out of the rat zone, and if you took that, I would have entered on that trade at 98.4. I don't know about your chart, which meant I could have picked up 3 pips and been done. I would probably be out at this point because it stopped. Okay, but I could have picked up 3 pips. That would have been really nice.
Yeah, so if we look at the chart right here, and I think we would normally be looking at a 1 minute time frame on this chart. You see, price came up and went down, came up through the holo, the lowest open, put in a 2 ball, crossed the double low, but that 2 ball came in, and like you said, you'd be out. And if you had taken the trade right here at the 96, that would have been 4 or 5 pips. If you would have taken the trade at the break right here, you could have made 2 or 3 pips. But those are pips you put in your pocket.
Exactly. It's just, you just cash in the pocket, and that's what we're doing. We're just stacking bricks up, just taking little pieces. And the thing is, what's really nice about this trade is that if you do it consistently, okay, and you're very, very cautious about how you do it, and you get out. In fact, there was at one point in time I took some trades. I got 0.2 on one trade, and I got 0.4 on another trade. So I got not 2 pips, but 2 points, and I got 4 points, not 4 pips, but 4 points, because what happened was took the trade and it just stopped. And if I would have stuck in that trade, I would have taken a loss, and you just got to be smart about it. Trade what you see. If it's going and you're going in your direction, you know what? Stay in it, because, you're making money. But as soon as that thing stops, at least for me, with my way of doing this, and I know, Avery, you may do it a little bit different than me, but when I do it, it's sort of like, it stopped, okay? I'm gone. I'm taking whatever, I'm going to go and put $10 into the bank. I'm going to put $10 into the bank.
Yeah.
That's better than taking a loss.
So like right here, we have the classic rat reversal.
Yeah.
Okay, here we
got a
go.
red candle close. Follow.
Yeah, we got a red candle close, green candle close, and then right here at the high of this green candle, which is looks like 01, you'd want to take the long, and as you can see, it just broke through, and now you'd be up a couple of pips.
Yep. And if you had done this on the 1 minute as opposed to 5 minute, which I usually trade off the 1 minute, you would have gotten into 99.3 and you could have picked up 5 pips on the deal.
Do you do on the 1 minute? Are you using the rat reversal or just previous M1 high?
I'm using on that one it was a rat reversal.
Okay. So this is looking at M1. So red candle close.
I'm sorry. It's it was the high of the 1 minute candle. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So actually, it's red candle close, green candle close, break at the high of this candle here, and you can see there was pips to be made. You know, here again, red candle close, green candle close, break.
Yep. And if you go back and look at that video and you watched, what happened was it came and was shot up and it was up 4 or 5 pips or whatever it was, and then it stopped. And you had enough time to get out of the trade. And that's where I was just like, okay, it stopped. I'm out. I'm gone. And then you put that pips in the bank and you're done. Because if you hadn't done that, look where we're at now. We're already back to where my entry was.
Exactly. And
so you have to play it that way sometimes. And, now once you're up, let's say, one of the ways I can do it, in fact, I had one trade today where I did do this. Once you're up, 5 pips, the other way you can do it is just put your stop loss at 1. And that way, if it does reverse on you, well, you put 1 pip in the bank. But what you're hoping for in that situation is that, it's going to come back and run back a little bit against you. But a lot of times, it will then go and turn around and continue its run up. So that's just the way, another way that you can go and try to get a bigger move, if that's what you're trying to get. I'll do that sometimes. Sometimes I won't do it. Most times I don't do it. I'd rather go and put the 3, 4, 5 pips in the bank and just call it a day.
Exactly, because you've got your, as you call it, your core, and you just want to stack pips till you hit your core, and then
right.
like any addict, you just can't stop trading.
Thank you.
I had to tease you about that.
Oh, I know. But the thing is but isn't that what we need to do? The whole idea is just to go and put a little bit in the bank, a little bit in the bank. It's very rare that using a baseball analogy, how often does somebody get up to the plate, and hit a home run versus how many times do you get up to the plate and you hit a single? You have a much better chance of hitting a single. Even if you're a home run hitter, you still got a better chance of getting on base on a single. So the thing is, those singles add up.
Exactly.
But like I was saying before, that for me anyway, the best time like right now is the best time to be looking for these rat zone trades. We're coming out of the rat zone right now. We're in it. We're going towards the end of the day. The London boys are going home within the next hour. The New York boys, they're going out to lunch within the next hour. So, now whether or not today will pan out, I don't know, because today is a U.S. bank holiday. So being a U.S. bank holiday, things are a little bit different. A little bit, the London guys will go home, and then there won't be any New York guys out there trading. The only people that will be out there trading is the retailers like you and I. And so sometimes it doesn't follow as well. But the thing is, there's a good chance it still will.
Yeah, so hopefully after the fastest 15 minutes of trading is up, that one trader has learned something about the rat, and maybe some of you other traders have learned a little bit more about the rat, but just keep in mind that it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. And if you're new here, click subscribe, welcome aboard, click like, and share the video all over the internet. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.